All right, here we are, Math 209, week 5. Again, on this one, we are really going to be making heavy use of Desmos. In fact, you'll notice the directions say we are going to be using a calculator. So we're not even cheating, we're just using a calculator. So the idea is, log, when we're doing log of 94, basically what we're saying is, don't forget, log of 94 means there's a 10 here. And we're basically saying 10 raised to what power is equal to 94. All right, now it's not going to be a whole number because we know that 10 raised to the 0th power is 1. 10 raised to the first power, so if I were to say like 10 to the 0th power, that's 1. 10 raised to the first power is 10. 10 raised to the second power is 100. And we want our answer to be somewhere between 10 and 100. So we know our answer has to be somewhere between 1 and 2 because we want the answer to be 100. So what does that exponent have to be? Well, when you type it into Desmos, log of 94, sure enough, our answer is 1.97312, blah, 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 and it says round to 4 decimal places. So when we round to 4 decimal places, 1, 2, 3, 4. So here are our 4 decimal places, and what I mean by 4 decimal places is right here. And that 2 tells you to round down, so our answer is 1.9731. And that's going to basically be the process that we do this. And whatever place it says to round to, that's where you chop it off and you look at the next door number. If the next door is 5 or higher, you round up. If the number is 4 or lower, you round down. So again, typing this into the calculator is a very simple. All we have to do is just type it in. Again, there's no y. Don't do y equals log of 1.24. If you did, you'd get a graph over here, and you don't want a graph. You just want the answer. So here is your answer, and it says round to 4 decimal places. So when you round to 4 decimal places, 1, 2, 3, 4, you chop it off at the 4th decimal place and you look next door. So this is the natural logarithm. So what we have been doing is log, and that means the number is 10. When in algebra, this is trig, but when you have a special number, it's log base e. And e is kind of like pi. Pi is 3.14. So pi is 3.14, blah, 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 blah. It keeps going. Well, e is another number similar to pi in that the letter e represents a number, and it's like 2.716, blah, 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 something like that. It represents a number. And so log base e, when we do log base e, tradition has it that we just call it the natural log, and so we just call it ln. So ln really is synonymous with log base e, all right? But no matter, we're just going to type it into Desmos anyway. And so you type in ln and then 37, and then of course here's your answer. It says round to the nearest thousandth in this case. So rounding to the nearest thousandth, you need to know that's tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So that's actually 3 decimal places that we're going to be rounding to. And this 9 tells you to round up. So in this case, our answer is 3.611, and that's the answer you're going to type into my math lab. Just more of the same. When you have a fraction, you have to get a little bit more creative in terms of how you enter it into Desmos. So I found putting parentheses helps first off, and then you just type in your fraction. And in this case, you get a big old decimal, and it happens to be a negative because it's a fraction less than 1. And in this case, the directions say to round to the nearest thousandths place. So again, that's tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So it's 3 decimal places. This 6 tells you to round up. So in this case, I have to worry about carrying. So our answer becomes 0 or negative 0 point, and then it's going to be 560 because the 6 tells you to round up, so that makes this a 10, which means you have to carry the 1, so that makes it a 6, right? This hundredths place becomes a 6. And so our answer is negative 0.560. You don't really need that trailing 0. And again, you just type in your value. I left in the parentheses. I didn't have to have the parentheses there. And there's my answer, and I'm going to round to the 4th decimal place because that's what it says to do. And that wraps up a really simple one, just using Desmos to get your answers.